guys, welcome to another episode of Living with Ulcerative Colitis. I'm Maya, and today's video is going to be about bread. And this topic came to mind because Mom and I sell herbs and spices and bread at the farmer's market. And one of the main breads that people request that we do not have is sourdough. And they usually follow it up with, well, I have this disorder and sourdough is easier for me to digest. But Mom and I have not mastered the fine art of making the sourdough starter, and until we do not supply sourdough bread. But as I was thinking, I was saying to myself, sourdough is one bread that I have found that I can also digest easily. And I found this out because Mom makes a lot of bread by scratch. That's how we grew up. That's the bread that we grew up eating. And when I was diagnosed with UC, she would make some breads and I would eat them, and it would take my body a very long time to process the bread. And I didn't exactly know why. I just knew that, well, I eat this bread and my stomach stays bloated for like this amount of time. And so I would just switch it up, try a different type of bread, and I think Mom went to Trader Joe's possibly, and she bought a sourdough bread, and I ate that and it didn't happen. And so I began thinking of little, like, more breads that I could eat that would be easier. The reason I figured out why I couldn't eat Mom's bread is because it contains whole grain, and I have an article here from the colorectal surgical associates, and they have this little logo right here. It's in the shape of a colon, and it explains that these are the foods that are harder for people to digest who have UC. Whole grain cereals and breads are difficult to digest, and it's basically like if you have, like, you know how there's like whole grain crackers, there's whole grain breads. I found out that I don't digest them very well. You might have a different, that might be different for you, but my ostomy nurse told me that that was a possibility, and then I tasted it and I was like, yeah, this is true. Another one is nuts and seeds. I personally am able to eat almonds, cashews, peanuts, basically the big nuts, but I kind of stay away from sunflower seeds and some pumpkin seeds because they're a little smaller. And I find that I kind of chew nuts really fast, and I don't exactly chew all of them to completion, and that was something that my doctors found hilarious when I had my ostomy bag, and they could clearly see that I didn't chew that one a certain amount of times. But there are other breads that I have found that I'm able to eat. I've noticed that if a bread has like a fluffy kind of consistency, like if you cut into it and it's like, for instance, a croissant, I can digest a croissant because it has many layers, and so it's easier for me to eat it and my body to break it down. It's not very dense, it's not very thick, it's just a flaky pastry. And at the same time, I make a brown buttermilk bread, which you guys can look it up, or I can leave a recipe in the description. But the brown buttermilk bread is similar to the croissant, and it has many layers, and so when I eat it, I'm able to digest it. But at the same time, knowing what is in certain breads also helped a lot. Like, for instance, knowing that rye bread contains rye, and rye might be hard for you to digest, actually really helps. I don't know what I thought was in rye bread, but I was looking it up and I was reading the ingredients and I was like, yeah, I don't know about that one. But there are like a lot of different things that I have used to be able to eat certain breads. For instance, like for focaccia, I make sure that if I'm eating it, I have some water with me, or I'm eating it with some soup, and that allows the soup to be a water base as I'm eating the bread, and it's helping break it down faster. And the water also helps so that your digestive tract's not being hit with a bunch of basically starch and no water, which can make it harder for you to digest things. But I hope this video was helpful. Please like, share, subscribe, and press the bell for notifications. Bye guys!